welcome back to my channel. So I'm sorry that I was not around last week. I had a very busy week and I could not budget my time well enough to get a video up. However, I am so bored this season and I don't want to discourage you guys. Without Corinne on the show, I feel like there's no show. Am I right? But I am back this week, so let's recap. We had left off with the 2-on-1 date, and as you guys know, Nick picked Corinne. He let Taylor go home. I kind of felt that coming all along. I never really saw the connection between Taylor and Nick, and let's be honest, Corinne just wants to sleep with Nick, and so he's a guy. Sorry. So Corinne and Nick are on their dinner date and Taylor comes back, shows up on their date and wants to pull Nick aside and I guess just lay out the truth. Here's the thing. He already let you go. Unless you were gonna tell Nick like Corinne killed your dog and slaughtered it in front of your entire family, Nick is still gonna choose Corinne. Like he already made up his mind. But Taylor does try to convince him. Taylor basically says that Corinne is a liar and she lied about being bullied and that all the girls know this about Corinne, that she's just not a good girl. You don't get ahead by throwing other girls under the bus. Like no matter what, I'm not a big Corinne fan as you guys know, but like you're wasting your time talking such shit about a girl because he's obviously into the girl. Whether he wants to sleep with her and that's it, or maybe wife her up, who knows? He's into her. There's nothing you can do about it. Taylor, just go home. Nick politely let Taylor know that he had made his decision, that he thought Taylor was a great girl. It had nothing to do with the drama between Corinne and Taylor, but that his connection with Corinne was obviously much more intense. I mean, hello, they were straddling each other a couple episodes ago. Next, it comes time to the rose ceremony. Nick decides to forego the cocktail party because he knows he's made up his mind and he is ready to let some of these chicks go. See you later. The girls that go home are Jamie, Josephine, and Alexis. Now it's time for the girls to pack their bags. They end up going to St. Thomas where they go and play on the beach. Who can sign me up for that? The first one-on-one date is with Christina, and Christina really does get that opportunity to just open up. I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple recaps ago, I had mentioned how Christina had said she really wanted to share stuff with Nick, but she wanted to make sure it was the appropriate time, that she basically had enough time to talk about it, and I totally understand why. So Christina let us all know that she was born in Russia, and that she had a very rough childhood. It was deep. It was depressing. Long story short, Christina, around 4 to 5 years old, was living with her mother, and I'm pretty sure her sister too, and they were very poor. They did not have food, and her mom had left the house to go get food and said, "Do not eat. I will bring back food." And she, I think, had gone into her mother's lipstick and ate her mom's lipstick. Her mom came back and asked if Christina had eaten, and she said yes and kicked her out at 4 or 5 years old. Once her mom kicked her out, Christina went to an orphanage until about 7 or 8 years old, and apparently the typical thing to do was to get into prostitution at a really young age to make money. And Christina knew that that wasn't what she wanted to do with her life, and she knew that there was a better opportunity. So some of her teachers encouraged her to come to the United States and get adopted by a family here in the US. But I guess what was stopping Christina was that she did have a sister and she didn't want to leave her sister, but she knew that she did not have any opportunity other than getting herself into danger in Russia. She ended up coming to the United States, and now I think she lives in Kentucky. She still has her sister in Russia, but she does have a family here. Her mom did pass away, but holy hell, what a story. Nick obviously gave her the rose. I don't think it was a pity rose because, my God, her life experiences, unfortunately, they may have been really bad, but they molded her into this incredible woman. I think Nick gave her the rose because of that. They really did have a sweet connection. Christina, you are amazing. Now it's time for the group date, and Nick takes Rachel, Raven, Vanessa, Corinne, Danielle M, and Jasmine. Now, Jasmine is basically at her wit's end here. She had really wanted a one-on-one date with Nick. She feels like she is one of the only ones that has not had that time with Nick. I mean, I felt bad for Jasmine too. I don't think she really has had a fair chance to get to know Nick. They go on a catamaran. They are drinking on the beach. They are playing beach volleyball. I just feel like when all this drinking is involved, I mean, you can tell Corinne loves her champagne. She doesn't hide it. She is drinking champagne the entire season. She's about to fall over at some point. Jasmine, again, is just irritable. I don't know if Jasmine was drinking, I think. Regardless, Jasmine is pissed off that she hasn't had that time, and here she is on another group date. And so, I don't know if it was like a play fighting thing, but she totally knocks down Corinne, and Corinne is, you know, so she just collapses. At this point, everyone is like in tears. Everyone's pissed off. No one wants to fight anymore. Nick can feel it though. He feels like this group date brought so much more tension and negative energy into the environment than what he ever expected. So when he tries to pull each of the girls aside, he can tell that everyone is affected by this process. Rachel says that she feels uncomfortable and she wants to know that Nick's feelings are reciprocated. She's almost nervous to put herself out there anymore because she doesn't want to get hurt. She doesn't know where she stands. And then poor Jasmine. So Jasmine finally pulls aside Nick, and she's just on another level by this point. She just doesn't want to hold anything back, and so she lets him know that she's frustrated she hasn't had a one-on-one, that she wishes she had the same connection with Nick as she sees the other girls have with Nick. She says that she's so pissed about it that she wants to choke him. You know, like saying it once, I guess, is a little bit funny, but like she kept going and going and going. She kept saying like, I just want to choke you. I just want to choke you. And like, she was like, let me choke you. And not like hard or anything, like sexually, like let me just try. And it was just so... It just wasn't like the right place or the right time. And the fact that they hadn't had really that connection yet, and then you make those kind of jokes. I swear, the look on Nick's face, I thought he wanted to run. I thought he wanted to jump in that ocean and swim back. Like, it was so awkward, and I felt bad for Jasmine because you knew that like she was just playing around and she was trying to make the situation a little bit more lighthearted because she had come in really strong, like pissed off because she didn't have that time. It just was a total fail. It was like you watched it just crumble. And it was at that time that Nick had just said he thought she was a great girl, but that no, they didn't have the connection that he had had with some of the other girls, and he didn't want to waste her time. So what do you know? He sent her home. I felt so bad for her. So the last date that Nick had was a 2-on-1, which is a little bit of a shocker because it was with Danielle, who he had had an amazing connection with, had a one-on-one date with, and then Whitney. So Whitney has not had a lot of airtime. I don't really remember her ever connecting with Nick much. So I felt like watching this 2-on-1 date, I knew exactly what was gonna happen. It was like he was gonna let go of Whitney because who in the hell is Whitney? And he had such a connection with Danielle. The girls were stressed, especially Danielle. I think she was going into this thinking, yeah, Nick and I are good. What in the hell am I on a 2-on-1 date for? So they go to this little private side of the island, and Nick talks to Whitney first and just says that he thinks that she's such a sweet girl and she has such a calm demeanor about her. And not to mention, Whitney is beautiful, naturally beautiful. That girl doesn't need makeup at all. Then Nick goes and talks to Danielle, and he does. He has the stronger connection with Danielle. Even though Whitney is very interested in Nick, they didn't get the opportunity to get to know each other. They didn't have any significant dates. And with Danielle, he had already built something up with her. And obviously, Danielle is gonna let Nick know she 100% sees a future with him. So he does go back to Whitney, and he tells Whitney that he just doesn't have that connection with Whitney, and that he has to follow his heart, and his heart is telling him that he has more of a connection with Danielle. I mean, duh. Did anyone question that? Did anyone think going into this 2-on-1 that it was gonna go to Whitney rather than Danielle? So then it comes time to their dinner date, Danielle and Nick, and oh my god, I was so uncomfortable. Nick had a change of heart all of a sudden. They were talking and Danielle was 100% fully into Nick. I mean, she was telling him that, you know, she really felt a connection with him already, that she was falling in love with him, that she was so excited she saw a future with him. I mean, she is like Team Nick 100%. Let's go get married tomorrow. And Nick, the entire dinner date, he kept looking down and he really wouldn't make eye contact with Danielle, and then he was like looking around. I mean, she would talk to him and you could see like she was looking at him dead in the face, and he was just like all over the place. And I knew at that moment, Nick wasn't feeling Danielle either. I mean, he couldn't have looked more uninterested in Danielle if he tried. So, as I suspected, Nick then goes and breaks the news to Danielle saying that he just doesn't feel like this is right. He has to let her go. He hopes that he's not screwing this up, and he hopes that he doesn't regret it. Like, Nick, why wouldn't you just told them both at the beach, like, see you later, girls, you guys go, I'm not feeling any of you. I mean, I guess cool, Danielle, you got a free dinner. So Nick is an emotional wreck. He doesn't know what in the hell he's doing. He ends up going back to the girls at the hotel and says that he doesn't know if he can do this, that this process is really difficult and he feels really insecure, and then walks out and leaves. If I were those girls, I would be packing up my bags. I'd say, you know what? Screw Nick. Leave him. Let him be on his own. He clearly can't find anyone. He's clearly not happy with anyone. See you later, Nick. We're all gonna go find someone better. I don't know why you'd go to the girls and tell the girls that. Like, you're screwing with all of them. Does that mean that you're just gonna quit the show right now? Sorry, girls. None of you guys are good enough for me, so I'm just gonna leave? That's pretty messed up. So I obviously cannot wait to see what happens next episode, because are we gonna have the rest of The Bachelor, or is it done? And if so, do we get a new Bachelor? So thank you guys so much for recapping with me. Again, I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, but I am back today, and I will be back next week because I want to know what in the hell is happening. Nick? Let's just cut Nick from the show. Let's not give Nick a rose. Let's say bye to Nick. What do you guys think? Well, as always, let me know what you guys think down below. Let's gossip, let's chat, let's recap. Make sure you like and share this video to all of your Bachelor and Bachelorette friends, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye!